So today I'm very happy to host the first singer and performer from the London classical music scene at Tales and Tunes Talks.
Hi.
Welcome, Lottie.
Hello, hello.
So let's start. Lottie Day is a fine young singer with a clear, bright soprano voice and very good diction. Her singing is expressive with well-shaped vocal lines. Lottie is blessed with natural musicality and she's a good communicator. Reliable and well-prepared, says Andrew King of the BBC Singers.
I see you read my website.
Little preparations.
Yeah.
So how would you introduce us?
Hi, I'm Lottie Day. I have been a singer since I was 6, so that's, I guess, 21 years now, a long,
Wow.
long time. I have a classical singing degree and obviously a classical singing background. I've done a lot of different things though. I love doing choral singing. That's how I met Sinem, in fact. And I've done my own original songs. I've been recording a few of those lately. I'm also recording a folk album with the guitarist Dave Holmes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So it's awesome.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
I do classical singing, but I also do pop, I do rock, I do folk. I can do pretty much anything. Not to toot my own trumpet a little bit.
I love when the genres just mix up together. So thank you again, and let's start with our first question. So you said 6 years old?
Yes.
Yeah, you've been singing. It's amazing. But my first question was, what first drew you to singing, actually, and how did you decide to be a singer?
Well, it came about quite naturally, really.
Okay.
I think it was really, I started probably imitating a lot of the music I was listening to at home. I think we were a musical household, even though none of my family are musicians themselves. But we were listening to music all of the time. And so I think I was just picking things up and I started singing it. And my dad said, you know, he heard me singing in the attic one day and he thought it was the radio, he tells me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was like, do you want to do some singing lessons? And I was like, yes, please, because I think even at that time I knew. And I'm very lucky in it that I discovered my passion for it really early on.
Very early.
Yeah, very early.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And when did it start to feel like your own voice? Like, was it right from the start? You were feeling, oh, actually, that's really my voice is coming up, or were you just imitating back then and then start, growing your own voice naturally in time?
I think potentially it began with my first singing lesson. That's when I really felt that I was...
And when was it?
That was when I was 6 as well.
Amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I think because I had that first lesson, I then went home and I started singing in a more classical style, like in the mirror, just sort of imitating what my teacher had told me. But then I started to really feel something from it, like right away, if that makes sense. And then, everyone thought, oh, she's an opera singer, even though she's really young. I mean, obviously, an opera singer is a whole different thing because you have to actually sing operas to be an opera singer. But classical singing, yeah, that was where it really flourished from that first lesson.
Amazing. So, well, it's a bit... directly detailed question, but I'm really, really interested in that question. So how do you balance the emotional depth in your singing with the vocal control?
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that's come up in our singing lessons as well.
Yeah,
a little bit from time to time
we carry
as well,
on talking about that.
I'm a very technical singer, and I think I get that from my teachers. The teachers I've had being Louise Crane and Anthea Kempston. Who is now called Anthea Dwyer. My bad, got her name wrong. But the teachers I've had in the past have been very, very technically focused. So I am as well as a teacher. And, Louise Crane always told me 75% technique and then you can think about the rest. But for me personally, I think once you've got the muscle memory of the technique down, it doesn't take up as much mental space. So it gives you the freedom to focus on expressing.
Oh, okay. So it's like driving the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Like you can't drive a car and sing along to music if you've never driven a car before. But if you've been driving for 5 years.
I do it all the time.
And if you've been driving for 5 years, you can then have a conversation with the person next to you and, like, I don't know, have a fun time with it.
Okay.
So I think it is really building that technical foundation first. I mean, I still encourage all my students to find emotion in what they're doing as well. It's really a constant balancing act. You really have to think of all of the different pillars of what you're doing, and yeah, it's not easy. It's a challenge.
Well, it is a big challenge. But once you even you master, like, 5% more, you feel like, oh yeah, I'm doing something. Like,
yes, and the technical confidence actually brings with itself some kind of emotional freedom as well. Like, even if you have the technique down and not even really thinking about the emotion, the fact that you have more control over your voice, it will just naturally start to emerge, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah, it's giving you like a frame where you can flow,
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my next question was related about our singing lessons, actually. So it's really nicely flowing now.
Oh, let's go.
So alongside performing, you also work as a vocal coach, as you say.
Yes.
So, and I'm lucky to be one of your students, happy students. So what is the most meaningful thing that you're trying to pass on to your to the people you're working with in that sense?
I would say joy is the number one thing.
It's hard to pass on.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because I can teach about practice, I can teach about technique all day long, and that stuff is really, really important. But if at the end of the day my student hasn't had fun doing it, like, that would make me really sad. So I try to have that as one of my priorities. I try to build that relationship with the student, where we're laughing, having a good time, singing, enjoying the music. I think that's and hopefully sparks a bit of curiosity for the student to then go and then want to practice on their own. You know what I mean? So that it's not a case of do this, do that. I want it to be a collaborative process. So I'd say joy is the most important thing.
Oh, that's really amazing. Well, it's just actually everything builds on top of it, isn't it? It's like the ground level thing, and then you can just grow from there.
Because singing is such a personal thing. If you're not having fun in the lesson, having that nice dynamic with your teacher, you're not going to be comfortable enough to properly
explore more
and actually sing with your own real voice. You know what I mean?
So so I want to ask you about today's music world, actually, which I'm really happy to explore further and further in London. So how do you stay true to your artistic identity? It's I mean, on your role, it's hard to stay as an artist in today's world. But like more specifically, how like you can take it as a practical question as well, or as a thoughtful question in both senses. So how do you stay true to yourself as an artist?
I mean, I have to stay creative. I have to still be doing my own songwriting at the same time. No matter what I'm doing, I still have to be. When you say be true to yourself, it makes me think of like, okay, what is authentically me? And I think doing the things that you're actually passionate about, like that you're most passionate about, even whilst you take on various different projects, I mean, when I was 6, I didn't know that I was going to be a teacher. I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher. And that artistic identity that I had back then, I still have to be like true to her sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I still have to go and do my own singing. I write my own poems as well. I listen to my own.
Oh, I didn't know you were writing poems.
Oh yeah, I do.
I mean, interestingly, in our table 52 writers group, Sarah, I mean, she used to write, for instance, she used to write short stories like us, but then in time she started bringing poems every now and then, and she found out actually she's a poet. Yeah. She's a true poet. I mean, she's writing amazing poems.
That's awesome.
But it was a journey, and we witnessed it together with my other writers friends. Poem writing. Oh,
so
I
admire. You have to really stay in touch with your creativity, in my opinion, as an artist trying to make a living. Like, obviously, on a practical level, you have to have a portfolio career, so you've got to be skilled in many different areas, right? Like, I do a lot of primary school teaching.
Yes.
I do choir leading, mostly for primary school children. I've done secondary, choir leading in secondary schools. I do one-to-one singing lessons. I do choral singing. Like, I do so many things. But the trick is to only take on projects that you believe in and that you enjoy. You know, I wouldn't become... So for me personally, it wouldn't be right for me to become, say, the director of music at a secondary school or something. That wouldn't feel right for me. Okay. But, you know, if you're a musician who is really passionate about, you know, leading a department, then that would be great for you. Like, you have to take on things that feel good for you.
Just knowing yourself, actually. Yeah. And,
like, on a deeper level, you know, I do a lot of journaling. So I feel like I'm self-aware enough to know what's going to be right for me.
When do you write mostly? In the morning, in the early mornings, or at late nights?
Late, if I can't sleep, I'll journal, but usually it's just before bed because it's just a way of getting everything out onto paper. I mean, I love writing, so I very much relate to you.
Oh, amazing! Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think it changes for me, but it's definitely liberating journaling.
Oh yeah, hugely.
And also, it should be helping with your staying true to your creative nature as well. So it should be feeding back into your creative.
You have to feed the creative side of yourself, in my opinion, because I think for a long time, I don't know about if you've ever experienced a bit of a rut in your creativity, and I think it's because I wasn't pushing myself to experience new things, you know, like go to live music performances, like listen to new music you haven't heard before, engage with other creators. Like, it's so important to like feed, because it will only grow and grow the more you nourish it. Which sounds really cheesy, but it's true.
Sometimes the basics that our parents tell us are actually the basic and the working things. And actually you mentioned about these, you know, joining every now and then going to see live classical music events or live music. So why do you think experiencing classical music live in this age still matters?
I think it's any live performance, really. It's like just a completely different experience from just listening to a track on Spotify. Nothing wrong with doing that. But when you listen to a track, you and the thousands or millions of people who've heard it are all listening to the exact same thing, pretty much, right? When you're like at a live performance, it's a unique experience that not everybody gets to have, right? With the creators and artists that you admire.
It's almost tangible, isn't it? Like as if you can touch the music, the sound, or
and
with your
live
finger.
Music has such a community around it as well. Like, especially like, you know, newer artists who are just emerging, and they all go to, like, all their fans go to their gigs, and there is a sense of community and belonging in just going and seeing those artists perform. That's something that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. With classical music, it's very mindful. We live in a very, very fast-paced world where you're always trying to get new information, and sitting down listening to a classical concert might feel really hard because your attention span is always going to different things these days.
Well,
it's good for your brain. It really is.
This is going to be name of the game, I guess, in the coming years, more and more. Like, to be able to sit and focus.
I think it's going to be a very sought after skill.
Let's experience, let yourself experience this
exactly.
on a depth, in depth level. So you know the name of my blog is called Tales and Tunes.
Yes.
And interestingly, my storytelling skills and my interest in tunes, like in music, mostly choral, is intertwining, I feel, and I want to ask you about something about this intersection. So do you see yourself as a storyteller when you perform?
Yes, I think as an adult, yes, I do. I think, like, growing up, for me, I had found that I could make a beautiful sound, and that was important to me at the time.
But that was one part of the story.
That was just one part, exactly.
Okay.
And then when I went to, like, when I kind of advanced my singing education by I went to Junior Royal Academy of Music, and then I went to Conservatoire, as you know, and that was where I really learned to dig more into the poems. I mean, listen, when I was a child, there were some poems that really stuck with me anyway, like The Cherry Hung with Snow, really, really stuck with me, because even though I was so young, it you know, just for some reason I could just really feel that poem on like a spiritual level. But then getting older, when it comes to things like acting a part in a particular story, you have to know that story really, really well, and you have to know your character really well also. And that's when, because, you know, my brain was still developing, I just feel like I didn't really have that. And now, recently, having access to that, it's opened up a whole new thing. I didn't even know I could act before, and now I'm like, I'm actually like a good actor this whole time. But
isn't it funny when you're young, when you were doing things intuitively, and then later on you found out, I did this because of this.
Exactly. Like obviously some child part of me knew, but not consciously.
I love that.
So I definitely would consider myself a storyteller now. And
so what kind of stories are you drawn to?
I think things tend to be things about nature and about personal growth. Like I don't know if you've watched a lot of Studio Ghibli.
No.
Like Howl's Moving Castle.
Of
Away.
course. Yeah.
Princess Mononoke. It's really very hard for me to describe the impact that those stories had on me as a kid.
Howl's Moving Castle was, I mean, we watched it with the boys. And every time you watch it, you find another meaning.
It's unbelievable. All of those pieces of art are so close to me, so near and dear to my heart. Like I grew up watching them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's that kind of story of hope and meaning, and just like you know, people growing alongside of each other, but they don't have to be romantically involved. That's what I like. They don't always end in a romance. It's just you know, usually a boy and a girl, and they just grow together. I think it's really beautiful.
And lastly, is there, I mean, you mentioned a bit, but let me ask more specifically. So is there a song or a specific performance that best tells your story, and why?
I think
give it a bit of thought.
In terms of like a song, it's going to have to be a folk song, probably. It doesn't tell my story in particular, but it's just something that...
Where were you from, Lottie?
I'm from Farnborough, Hampshire, so it's just a bit south of here. And I grew up listening to a lot of folk music. There's a song by Kate Rosby, which is called The Daughter of Megan. Well, I don't think it's by Kate Rosby, I'm not sure, but it's a folk tune. And it's unbelievably beautiful, and I don't know, but it just feels like my soul resides in that song.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out.
And then, I guess in terms of a performance, I did a performance earlier this year in Hitchin where I got to do a bit of pop singing, a bit of folk singing, and a bit of classical singing, all in one evening with Harry Bradford, actually. And I think that really like gave me a chance to show my specific abilities.
I didn't come across with that one. But was it recent, or
it was in just July or June, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hot, very hot.
But
if that happens again, I'll let you know.
Yeah, do let me know. Okay, brilliant. Are there anything that you would like to add on to that, and about both your performing career and your vocal coach lessons, and anything you want to convey?
Well, I think in terms of career, I'm going to try to do a bit more of the private teaching. I think it's just so fulfilling, or one-to-one teaching, whether it's at a school or whether it's private. I don't mind.
I am really, really enjoying our lessons, and I hope I'm progressing from outside as well. I mean, from the inside, I feel the progress, but I hope it is resonating. I mean, from the outside, if you can
feel it, then it's happening. That's the thing. And as I've said to you, I can definitely hear it. You know, in our lessons. Good. Especially her breath control. It's very good. Anyway, I think to anyone who is an artist in London or a young person wanting to do this sort of thing, I just want it to be known that it is very possible to do what you want to do, and you do not have to follow a specific method, no matter how many people tell you that you do, because I'm out here doing it and I don't follow anyone's specific methods.
Well, I quite like how you customize your, teaching to the person, because, I don't think I didn't feel like, okay, you have a certain format and then I have to mold into that, but you were customizing it according to me and my needs. So I think that felt really, really encouraging as well.
Good. No, and that's a really important part of it for
So
me.
do get in touch with Lottie.
Please do.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you again, Lottie, for coming along, and that was such an enjoyable talk.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and we will stay in touch.
Amazing.